Well, hello everyone. It's Deb Naylor with the Flying Stamper, and it is Sunday, July 25th, 2021. And this YouTube is for my virtual fun with DSP class. I will be going over the projects, how to complete them, and sharing some additional information with you. So let's get started. This is one of the cards that you'll be making today. It's a Christmas in July, and I'm going to go completely over that card with you in a few minutes. Before I go over the card, I thought maybe it would be helpful for those of you that are completing this project at home with your kit to go over your kit a little bit and then the supplies that you will need. So let's start with the supplies. So you can gather those up and then maybe you can follow along in the video. You're going to need a box of glue dots or Scotch tape, whatever your choice is, whatever you prefer. You're going to need Stampin' Dimensionals. You're going to need your choice of adhesive. I like to use the liquid glue. I would recommend a stamping mat. This is a paper piercing mat. It's available in the catalog for $5 and it works really great with the Photo Palmer stamps. You'll need a pair of scissors. These are the Stampin' Up! Paper snips. You're going to be doing a lot of fussy cutting, so I would recommend shorter scissors. A paper piercing tool or the Take-A-Pick tool if you have it. If you don't, you can use this for several of the things as well. So let me set those to the side. You're going to need some stamp pads. I used Cinnamon Cider, Soft Succulents, Just Jade, Evening Evergreen, and Basic Gray. Those are the colors that I used. You can substitute similar colors, or you could just do everything, all of the things that you need to stamp in black. So basic black maybe, or Memento Tuxedo Black, the Memento pad would be a good substitute too. Then you will also need your kit. So I am going to show you a couple of little tricks with the kit. Let me move that out of the way for a second. And you won't be able to see the whole kit because my screen isn't large enough. But this is Karen's. Karen is out of town, so she's going to do her porch pickup this week. So we'll use her kit as the one to demo on. So in your kit, you're going to find 6 projects. And as always, when you pull your projects out in the envelopes, there's lots of little bits and pieces, so carefully pull them out so you don't lose anything. There's also a cute little present for you. I gave you some sheets of either Euro Peach or Sweet Seminary DSP, and there's a little note on there. Thank you so much for your help in helping me earn the 2021 Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. And then you'll have all of your leftover paper. Now you're going to need 3 sheets out of this paper to complete these projects. So you have a lot of leftovers, but the ones that you're going to need I placed in the front. So you have a partial sheet that looks like this, a partial sheet that looks like this, and then a full 12 by 12 sheet that looks like this. So those 3 are in the front, and that's what you're going to need. You're also going to find, if you haven't already, that there is a door prize. I made sure that everyone that attended class received a door prize, and also there is a little homemade Stampin' treat. Now, if you're picking this up by the porch or I mailed it to you, I froze it. So open your package up as soon as you get it so that it's still good. So that's what your kit will look like, and that's kind of going over what you'll need. All right, let's get started on one of the projects. We are going to start with our guy card. And this is what it looks like. So this is where you'll need the cinnamon cider. Oh, you're going to need some sentiments. I don't think I brought that up. And then one image. And an image about this size would be good. That's why I started with this card, so I could remember to tell you that. You could also, if you don't have an image this size, you could just put this in the middle, or you could fussy cut something out of one of your sheets, because cinnamon cider is a color that does coordinate with your DSP paper pack. I did use quite a bit in our projects this time, the Plentiful Plants stamp set and the Perfect Plants dies. And you'll see those in your projects. This coordinates with the DSP. Okay, so let's get started with this project. And let me just move this out of the way so I have a little more room. I will send you photos from all of the projects so that you have those to look at separately. If you're on Facebook, they've already been posted to our private virtual group. So you've got cinnamon cider paper, card base, then you've got some sheets of the DSP. Yours will not be pre-stamped. I did pre-stamp these in the interest of saving time. So you'll have to put your sentiments on, and I always recommend that you put your sentiments on before you glue anything down. That way, if you have a stamping boo-boo, you can turn the paper over and re-stamp it on the back. So this is just regular computer paper, printer paper, and I just thought it would be nice to line the inside of this card. Card's a little bit dark, and when you do the same color of ink, sometimes it doesn't show that well. So it really pops when you line it in white. And this big sentiment here is from the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set, but you can use any stamp set that you want. The image that from the man is from A Good Man, and both of these are in the annual catalog. Okay, I use the layering circles framelits to cut these out, and you can see that I cut out a hole in one of your DSP. That's just a little paper saver. So you're going to cover that. Nobody's going to know about it, and it just saves you a little bit of DSP. Okay, layer that down. And then layer this down on top of that. So this DSP is from your paper pack. And then we'll go ahead and glue these down onto the layering circle dies. And you'll see I stamped directly on the DSP on this last one. All right, now we're going to get our dimensionals out and bring them in. So I kind of offset him off to the side. We've done a lot of guy cards this month, this year so far. So for August, we may not do a guy card. I kind of have some other ideas, so I don't know. I might change my mind, but I'm kind of thinking we're kind of good on guy cards for a little bit. Okay, and then this I just kind of offset here, and I put it on a couple of dimensionals. Okay, and so we'll stick that on there. Okay, so that one's actually pretty easy to assemble. Just do your stamping, and then you layer it all up and glue it. Put that back in the envelope and move on to the next one. Okay, this next one is called an accordion folds. And I think you're really going to like it. So let's get the kit out. Now this one uses the stamps from the Plentiful Plants. And then all of this is fussy cut. So find your sheet in your pack and you'll fussy cut all of that stuff. And I pre-did that before the video just so that you wouldn't have to watch me fussy cut. There was a lot of fussy cutting in this class and it takes a lot of time, and I didn't want my video to be 2 hours long. So this accordion fold, it's so cool. It looks like this when it doesn't it look like kind of like a little accordion. Okay, so let's open up the pack so you can kind of see what you're going to get. Let's see if I can get these both in here Maybe I can set it over here. Okay, yeah, let's do that this time. Okay, so I'll pull this one out. Now I did pre-fussy cut, so you're gonna have to do that, and I pre-stamped. But you will have the dies and the ribbon, and then I did score this for you, and I kind of laid it in there so you'd know how to close it up. So here are the dimensions on this card. This was kind of a popular card in class, and so the dimensions are on the Facebook page, but if you're not on Facebook, they're 5 1/4 by 12, so that's this. And then you score this at 2 1/4 and 5 and 8. So those are the scoring marks. I'm going to leave that there for a few minutes in case you want to write it down. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so just a quarter sheet of cardstock. All right, so this is kind of important. You will want to lay your ribbon out and kind of even it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it goes on the card base before you glue anything down. You can use a glue dot, or you can kind of cheat like I am doing and use a piece of Scotch tape. All right, then we're going to glue this in. So make sure you've got that kind of all lined up right. So it's going to be the biggest piece that gets glued. This is 5 1/4 by 4 is what you end up with here. But you don't need to worry about that because it's scored, so you don't need to measure anything. All right, and then just center that up. Okay, so now it's laying that way. All right, now there is a piece of white cardstock here so that you can put your sentiment in the middle and any writing. So you can kind of move it off the edge just a smidge, but you want to make sure that it's under this because it looks kind of gross if it's stuck out there. So you don't want to bring it out too far, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And if you're going to stamp something in the middle, you might want to do that before you glue it in. I'm going to leave mine blank because I'm actually sending this to my niece. And I want to write her a little note. All right, so that goes like that. Now the card closes up here on the side, so you just do kind of a soft knot. Don't tie it real hard because the recipient's going to have to open it. And your ribbon is a little bit long, so you'll want to trim that. Now you've got this, and then you've got this, and I've already pre-stamped this, and again, this came from the Plentiful Plants stamp set. So we'll glue the white to the soft succulent. And this was stamped with soft succulent. Now you have to be careful when you put your dimensionals on here because you don't want them over here because this needs to open up, be able to open up. So you're just going to put your dimensionals on when you're on the back side on the left-hand side. And then you want to spread them out because you need that ribbon to be able to travel too. So don't put a bunch in the middle. Okay, so that goes like that. All right, there we go. So now we're going to layer up. Now you will have to fussy cut these, so get the sheets out there. And I kind of use the scissors to snip this off a little bit. Doesn't really need to be perfect because we're going to lay this on top of it, but I wanted to spread the fern out a little bit. Okay, so we'll put that on the back of that. And then this goes over here, and you maybe play with it a little bit before you actually stick dimensionals or anything on it. And that goes like that. So I use glue on the greenery, the ferns, and then I used a dimensional on this cinnamon cider foliage. All right. Okay. And then we'll put a dimensional on the back of this, and we'll pop it in the planter, and we'll call that baby done. Isn't that cute? All right, let me just open up again so you can see the recipient will have to open it. So you want to make sure that knot's soft. And they open it up and that travels, and then you write your words down there. Great card, love it. And really a great way to use DSP so you can see both sides of it. So absolutely love that. Okay, let me put this away and we'll move on to the next one. All right, here is our next one. And this one's kind of fun because we're actually going to line the envelope flap. If you saw my video last week, I showed you how to line envelopes, but I'll show you again on this video too in case you haven't seen that yet. So the thank you does come from, again, the Plentiful Plants stamp set. And the ink pad that I used on this one is just Jade. So when you open this one up, you're going to find, keep that in the window there. Okay, you're going to find, just a sec here, I'm refreshing my laptop, sorry about that. That's how I kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, you're going to find some sequins in this one, so be careful when you open this one up. So we'll set those to the side. This is the flap for the envelope, so I'm going to set that to the side for a minute. You're going to find 2 pieces of white baker's twine and then a bow, and then your card base and the Just Jade layer. So let's go ahead and stamp. Oh, I didn't do that. Huh? Okay, so let's go ahead and stamp the thank you on this. I thought I was so organized and I had all this stuff done. And you'll notice on this paper, it's probably going to be better to stamp over here, where on this paper it was better to stamp on that edge. So let's get the thank you. I've got this stamp double mounted so that I could do something on the inside. Now I always like to stamp off on my paper and make sure I've got a nice load. And that, okay, yay. And then on the inside, on this card, you'll see thank you and so very much. So I'm going to grab that so very much and put that on the middle. Okay, yay. All right, let me put the stamp pad away so I don't get anything inky. And this actually could be any kind of a card. It could be a birthday card. It's a great, you know, I tend to need thank you cards. I think it also might be an okay sympathy card. Or a thinking of you. Or congrats. Or get well. Extremely versatile. Okay, now let's talk about these guys. So you can either use 2 glue dots, or you can use the Scotch tape to anchor this down on the back. I'll just do one at a time. All right, so we got that laying across there about where we want it. We want to kind of keep it straight. Turn it over. Use your Scotch tape or your tape runner or a glue dot, whatever your preference is for anchoring ribbon down. And then straighten that up if it's not completely straight. Flip that over. And put that on the back. Okay, there we go. All right, now you have this little bow. So you're going to need a glue dot for this. And the best way I find to do glue dots is to open the roll up, find the glue dot, stick the glue dot on the bow. Now this bow is a little bit small, so I'm going to kind of pinch it when I bring it up. and then place it on the card. Okay, now you also have those pretty sequins. So just randomly place those wherever you would like. I put the blue one on the white because it doesn't really pop that well down in the foliage. The other two do pop out pretty well. So you can put them wherever you want. Okay, there we go. All right. So the card base, this needs to get glued to the card base. Yeah, I'm sorry. My laptop, I need to reset the timing on it. It's just reset again. And this is kind of, I like to watch what I'm doing so I can see if I'm in the window for you. It's kind of hard to see that through my camera. So there we go. That needs to get glued to that. Now let's talk about this envelope flap. So you're going to find that this is a great way to use up scraps. And I think yours has more foliage on it. I was kind of limited on my scraps. Actually, Valpal bailed me out. I didn't even have enough paper left of this one to complete this project. So she gave me, her and I traded a piece of paper. All right, I like to put the glue on the envelope, not on this. That way I don't end up going outside of the gluing area. The glue does run a little bit or spread a little bit, so you want to kind of stay on the inside. All right, so you press that down with whatever kind of adhesive. Now you just take your paper snips and you trim around the envelope. You use that as your guide. Isn't this a great way to use up scraps and just make a really pretty presentation? I love it. Now remember, on fussy cutting, you're going to be doing a lot of that today to turn the paper, not the scissors. So I don't know if you can kind of see that I am turning the envelope, not the scissors. And that helps eliminate those ugly cut marks. Oops, I'm so sorry. I just bonked the camera. All right, so there we go. All right, isn't that pretty? Okay, so that's project number 3. Let's move on. And now we're going to complete the card that I showed at the very beginning, the Christmas in July card. Again, when you pull this one out, be careful because there are some metallic pearls in there. So this is a Christmas card, but a couple people yesterday didn't want to do Christmas, and so they just left that off. And once you take the sentiment off, it could be a generic card. It doesn't have to be Christmas, so if you don't feel like doing Christmas, just leave that off. I did stamp across the bottom with this stamp set, and this is called Heartfelt Wishes, and it is in your new mini catalog. So it is available to order starting August 3rd. In your kit, you should have the new mini catalog too. So that's where that stamp set came from. So I would recommend stamping as low as you can and get that done before you glue anything down if you are going to put something on the front. That way you have full room to move around. This is the die from the bundle that we talked about earlier. So the Perfect Plants dies. It's the little macrame hangers. This reminds me of my youth. Macrame was kind of a big thing when I was like 18 and 19. You may find a few little pieces that need to go bye-bye. This one falls apart pretty easy though, so it won't be difficult like one of the projects we had last month where it was a little challenging. Okay, so this gets glued onto the Evening Evergreen piece of cardstock. And there is fussy cutting on this one again. So you want to find your piece to fussy cut. Okay, before you glue this down, you have 2 pieces of red ribbon. Take the longest one and run that across and probably about 1/2 of an inch down. And then anchor it on the back, either with a glue dot or Scotch tape, whatever your pleasure is. And then you can either use dimensionals or you could just glue this down. I'm going to go ahead and use dimensionals. Just give it a little extra dimension, but you know, if you like to glue things down and make them a little bit flatter, you can do that too. Okay, we'll put this other piece of ribbon in once we get our hanger up here because it's kind of at the top of where the hanger is. All right, so you have the pot. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the white macrame hanger. And that's probably a little more than we want, so I'm going to kind of pull that up a little bit. If you have the fine tip glue pen, that would probably be a good thing to use on this too. I'm putting a little bit at the very, very top. Okay. I'll stick that on there. And then we'll very carefully flip it and try to keep our hands out of the glue. This is one of the reasons why I like glue, because there's a little bit of time to move things. And then we'll slip this up under. And we got to put a little bit of glue on behind that red to get that to stay down there. So you could use a dimensional too. All right, let me put my lid on my glue. This is one thing about this glue. You do need to, when you're not using it, it will dry out really quickly. So you want to put that lid back on there. Uh-oh, I should have slid this under here before I did that. But I don't have any glue in here, so it's going to be okay. Yeah, we're going to slide that back there. So let me put a little tiny bit of glue back here. And then we'll just move this a little bit. That's the good thing about the glue. I can move this all around. All right. Now, this guy to go under here and over here. There we go. All right, now you can play with it and pull these ferns out or do whatever you want with it. All right, now these little pearls, these are the metallic pearls. You've got a couple choices on these. You could use the tip of your paper snips, or if you have the Take-A-Pick tool, you can use that. That really helps to move those things around. I'll just go ahead and use the scissors since they're here and they're easy. And then there's 4 pearls that go on the macrame hanger. I don't know if pearls and macrame hangers went together when I was 18 or 19, I can't remember, but when I finished the project without the pearls, it didn't really look that finished to me, so I decided to add it. I think we used to do like bead work. So to me, it seemed like it kind of looked okay. All right, then last but not least is this. I'm going to slide this under. I actually showed this in my YouTube too. It's a little cheater way to do a ribbon or a bow. And then just pull that, and it's just soft. I just pulled it through. I didn't double knot it or anything like that. You can trim the edges if you want it to be a little bit shorter. So I did do a greeting on the inside of this one. It says, may the beauty of the season bring you joy and warm memories to cherish throughout the year. And that came from one of the stamp sets from the annual catalog called Evergreen Elegance. So it's this one right here. Okay, let's put that to the side. And now let's talk about our little tree project. So everyone got a bonus project this month. It was another way for me to celebrate and share with you my earning the incentive trip. So this is your bonus project this week. And your little kit that you're going to get looks like that. It's just a recycled cello envelope of some sort or a little plastic bag. And so you'll open that up. Again, you have a couple of little elements in there, so be careful when you open it up. I'm sorry I keep coughing. My husband and I had just a brutal cold the end of June, first part of July, and we're pretty much over it now, finally, but it's kind of hung on. Let's see, where's my things? Oh, they're stuck to my hand. All right, so you should have something that looks like that with some silver metallic pearls. All right, so let's start by, you have a Ghirardelli chocolate. I used a dimensional to keep that anchored in there. You could use glue dots or something else, but a dimensional is pretty strong. So you're going to set that in there and then close this up and take your papaya ribbon and bring it through the hole. And I punched all of these for you guys. And then again, another little soft knot. And you can make two if you want, because this ribbon's very soft. I wouldn't tie it too tight though, because the recipient might try to open it up to get that chocolate out. So you want them to be able to do that. See here. Okay, so then you'll want to put your words in. And my words are from the Enriched in Friendship bundle. And it says, in a world where you can be anything, thank you for being kind. So this is how, and look, I make mistakes too. There's a little extra ink there, so I turned the cardstock over and I stamped it on the back. All right, so that gets glued to the gray, and I did use basic gray on this. Again, a little bit of fussy cutting, so you're going to get that succulent out of your DSP. I used a dimensional to pop the pot up, and the pot came from the framelits that are in the Perfect Plants dies, and that coordinates with your DSP. Okay, and then a couple more dimensionals to attach this to this. So this project, the reason why this came to fruition is my husband and I eat out probably about once a week, and we have just been noticing how short-staffed the restaurants that we like to frequent are, and people just that are working super hard. So I decided I was going to start leaving little extra trinkets or goodies, or just little extra, I don't know what you want to call it, a goodie, with the tip for the wait staff. So my plan is to slip my tip in here, so a 5 or a 10, whatever the tip is, and I've been doing 20%. Because honestly, I'm so grateful they're open and they're working so hard. The other day we went somewhere and I swear there was like 4 people working in this restaurant, and it's a very big restaurant, and they just had sweat on their foreheads, and I felt so bad for them. So, okay, and then you just take your things there. So isn't that a cute little idea? So, you know, your postal worker, there's so many different people that you could just brighten their day a little bit with this little treat. And very easy to make, and not terribly expensive. You can buy these bags of Ghirardelli chocolates at Costco or Safeway or the pharmacy, Walgreens. Okay, now the last project. Okay, this one will take a long time. There's no stamping on this one. It's just a big fat fussy cutting project. So these card bases and envelopes, I think we used them last month in class too. They're from the Hand Pen Memories and More card bases and envelope collection. I love them. And then these paper lattices are in the annual catalog. And these were actually on back order. I had 2 packages of them that I ordered initially, and then I needed one more package, and they came in like one package came in, and then a couple weeks later, one more package came in, and then the final package came in Friday. And I actually had a demonstrator friend that was on standby to possibly loan me a package because I didn't know if I was going to have enough to get through the in-person classes and the porch pickups. So anyway, that was a little bit of a challenge to work around, but you know, it's COVID and you just kind of got to go with the flow a little bit. So threw me behind a little bit in the process. Anyway, these are in the annual catalog, and I just think they make a fabulous backdrop for the plants. All right, so these are all fussy cut from your paper pack. Let's see. Oh, I didn't show the card. My goodness. Let me give you the finished card so that you can see where we're going with this. I guess I just know it by heart, and I assumed you would too, even though you've never seen it before. Yeah. Okay, so there's the finished card. Okay, I'll set that over here. Let's get this out of the way here. It'll give me a little more room. All right, so the pot is pre-cut for you. You're going to put that down here. And I put all of these on dimensionals. So you'll fussy cut all these pieces out. Where did my pieces go? And then just kind of randomly layer them on however you would like. Oh, here's another little, so I use that macrame hanger again from the die set. So let's put this on a dimensional. I kind of got to eyeball where we want this to be because we want this kind of at the top of the, it looks like a lattice. You kind of want to use that as your guide there. There we go. Okay, now we're going to put the fussy cut pieces in. This one goes here, and this goes over here. So however you kind of want those arranged. And those are also on dimensionals. And make sure that doesn't hang too far off the card or it won't fit back in the envelope. Okay, we are now ready to put some glue on the back of this, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. I just kind of went in with my liquid glue. You could use glue dots if you don't have liquid glue, or the fine tip glue pen, that would work too. All right, now we have this little tiny bow. So we're going to get our glue dots out again. And we're going to take the bow to the roll of glue dots. And if you have the glue dots from the paper pumpkin kit, those work perfect too. Just take the white cover off carefully and leave the glue dot on the sheet that it's on. Okay, we'll put that on there. I want to show you how I made that little tiny bow. Okay, so that's finished. There's no stamping on this one. You can stamp something on the inside if you want to. I would use soft succulent or just jade or evening evergreen would go really well with this. Or cedar, cinnamon cider. All right, I'll leave that there. You guys can take a look at those. So I used the soft succulent ribbon, and I cut off about 7 inches. Whoops, I just dropped my scissors. Woo! All right. Okay, now I took my snips and I went down the middle of the ribbon, and this gave me a strip of smaller, thinner ribbon to make my bow out of. So that's a way to stretch your ribbon. You now can make 2 bows instead of 1. And it is a way to get a smaller size of ribbon, because when I was playing with this, I first tried to put a big bow on it, and it was just too big. You really want the focal point to be all these pretty fussy cut pieces, not a huge ribbon, and it just didn't look right. So another demonstrator had shared this tip of cutting this ribbon down the middle and making it so that you could get 2 pieces out, and I thought, you know what, this might be a really good trick for this, and I think it turned out really well. So good way to stretch your ribbon, good way to get a thinner ribbon. So we'll just pull that around and then you trim that off. So that's how I made that. Okay, so those are the projects. So full disclosure here, it was a bit challenging doing a virtual and an in-person class together. I learned quite a few things, and hopefully that'll make me a little more efficient next time. If you are missing anything from your kit, would you please let me know? It's very possible because of missing products coming in late and just different things going on, having a head cold and trying to prepare for basically 2 different types of classes. So let me know, because I can mail you whatever you're missing. And then I wanted to remind you that the Designer Series paper sale is still going on. There's 9 great DSPs that are on sale until August 2nd. And I have been doing YouTubes on them. We've done one on Hand Pinned so far, and You're a Peach. I'm going to be doing another YouTube next week. I don't know which one I'm going to do. It might be the Pansy, but it might be Beauty of the Earth. I'm going to try to do 2 more before the sale ends. So they're 15% off, but just till August 15th or August 2nd. So if you are interested in getting any of those papers, you can go online and order those now, or you can contact me and get me to order those for you. I'd be happy to take care of that. For next month, class is going to tie in with celebrations. If you place a $50 order with me online, or you can email it to me, you'll get your class for $5, and you will also be able to choose 1 celebrations item. So that's another little gift from me, doing a very inexpensive class that basically just covers my supplies. It doesn't take into account time or anything. But I wanted to gift you guys one more final thing for helping me earn that incentive trip. So the Evite will go out. I know if you're virtual, I'll just send you a virtual. And I know if you do in person that I know which session you want. But if it doesn't work for you and you need to do virtual next month, let me know. If you need to not do Friday morning, Saturday morning works better, let me know. As long as I have space, I'll move you around. I'm only going to offer this class to a small window of people. The rest of my summer is pretty jammed up with travel and other plans, so it's not going to be offered to anyone that hasn't been attending classes. I want to keep it really small so that I can actually do a good job and have a little bit of time to ride my bike and pick berries and do other things that I enjoy during the summer. So I want to thank you guys again so much for your business and hanging with me in the last 120 months. I mean, I know it wasn't 120, but February 2020 was the last day we had in-person events, and then I just restarted them this week, so it was a super long time. You know, even though we had the porch pickups, and I've seen some of you guys, you know, doing drop-ups or deliveries, it was really nice to have everyone in the studio and be able to visit and catch up, and we learned some things about each other, so that was really awesome. So have a great week. Again, let me know if you have any questions once you get your kit, and take care, and I hope to see you next month. Thank you.